Now drag and drop widget, Google Sign In for Windows, local runs IDE configuration, and UI builder value. These are the recent FlutterFlow updates for April 4th, 2024. And guys, let's look at this at first glance and then have a discussion. If you found value in this video, be sure to hit the subscribe button, and thank you very much. Let's get into it. So first on the list is the drag and drop widget. Now, FlutterFlow has released a drag and drop widget, so you can implement drag and drop in your application. This can be very useful in so many cases. Anyways, let's just go in and see how this can be done, and I'm going to give you my first thoughts. So this is the application that we're using. Remember, for all our FlutterFlow updates, if you need access to this app, I have like a couple of all of these things implemented, and where we are discussing on them. So for the drag and drop widget, we have this, like something like a to-do app. Now I have a detailed video, you can see it below, a detailed video explaining how I did all of this, but I'm just going to show you how I use the drag and drop widget, or however they call it, draggable and drag target widget. So there are two targets available if you want to insert. So what I have here is a simple app that you can just see. Let's go to drag and drop. This is update. Now you can move things from one place to another, like hey, we've not cleaned the house, or we are currently cleaning the house, we can move it under here, or if we did not finally eat, we can move it back here, just like that, to move items like that. So what happens here is, below here I have this list of items. So I have this page state variables for to-dos, which is a list of string. I just kept it simple. Doings, which is a list of string, and things I have done is also a list of string. And then here we have the list view that we've wrapped in a draggable widget. Again, detailed video below, you can check it out. I decided to make that extra because there were a lot of things I could not like compile down into this update. So have this draggable target that I can just add by searching, like say draggable. And according to FlutterFlow, this is the item that is relating to the whatsoever thing that you want to move across the screen or drag around your app. So you use that. Then there's this other drag target. This is where you want to place that thing that you are dragging. So we have this list view, and each of these items are being wrapped in a draggable item, in a draggable widget. So the text is being wrapped there, and when the text is being dragged into, say, this space, this container that has the drag target, right, there we can perform a list of actions. The drag target has a couple of action triggers, like on drag accept, for when the item they are dragging into that drag target has been accepted. On drag enter, when the item just enters a region of the drag target. On drag exit, like when the item passed over and it did not insert, something like that. So you can perform a list of actions that should take place when each of these events gets triggered. Please, I really recommend you check out the video that I have below, and yeah, it's going to be really helpful. That's it for drag and drop widget. Now the next thing we have is Google Sign In for Windows. I think last release FlutterFlow released the Windows app, and there was no Google Sign In button. I personally authenticate on FlutterFlow using my Google Sign In, and I was unable to use the desktop app because there was no way for me to sign in using my Google Sign In without having to go and reset my password or whatsoever. So we have the FlutterFlow app. Let's open it here and see how that looks now. Now I set it to automatically fetch for updates. So if it says it has the app, it should be here. I don't know. Create account. Now there's the Google sign in. Yeah, this is the button. So you can authenticate now with Google. I think that's very good. And I'll highly recommend, like, if you can just enable updates, like each new update for your application, it will be very useful. So that when each thing get released, you don't have like the desktop app should not be lagging, or like I see some people in the community complaining about the app doesn't sync with what they have on the browser. So it can be good to just make sure that you have your automatic updates checked. I think that gets prompted when you are installing the application. It is good to see like, hey, FlutterFlow listens, and they should also include like all the other means of authentication that they have on web. I think that would be good to have here too. But yeah, on login, let me see. So we have this. I'm going to try to sign in with my Google account. Tried authenticating and I don't know what's happening. But I don't know why for some reason the authentication is not going. As you can see, it says credentials successfully verified, but I can close this window. But when I close the window, the app doesn't do anything. So I don't know what is happening. Click on login, nothing. Create account, login, come back to this page. Then it loads indefinitely. I don't know why, but why that is. I think it's something that should be looked at. So let me just try using my normal password authentication. Yeah, and so we are in here. Okay. Anyways, I don't know that authentication, that method did not work for me. The Google or did not work for me. So and my app is up to date. Now the next one we have is local run IDE configuration. Right. So you can now set up the local IDE where you can just simply export your FlutterFlow code into your IDE and start developing. Now I see this to be very, very useful in so many ways. Like take for example where you have to match dependencies, like your Flutter version has to match that of the source code that FlutterFlow generates. Let's say your Flutter version on your application, on your local host, or on your device, on your computer is 2.9, for example, whereas FlutterFlow is developing on 3.1. There will be some dependencies issues if you have to export your code and just start running your machine like that. But if you can configure your IDE using like personalizations that FlutterFlow will give, it's going to easily match with the versions that you have on FlutterFlow. So let's see how you can do that. So I have this app. Let me click here, drop down, and I say, okay, set up local run. This way we can do it. Now you have to install the Flutter SDK. There's a couple of steps I have to do. Install the Flutter SDK. This is what I'm saying. All of this setting up this local run lets you specify use the required Flutter version, Flutter SDK version, so that your app will run without any complaints. So you have to install the SDK. Then Flutter Doctor is going to run to check a couple of things. Then you'll be able to configure your IDE, whether you want to use Visual Studio Code or IntelliJ or Android Studio whatsoever. Now the next thing we have on this update is UI builder value. Now, yeah, okay, let's take for example this page that we are just from doing for the draggable. Now you see here you have to do items item. What this particular function or this particular update does is it says enhance your building experience with our new UI builder display value, allowing you to rename variable names for clarity and efficiency. Yeah, so you can see a couple of examples here. Let me demonstrate something so that you can see. So let's take for example, say I add a text here. I just add a text here and I set the value of that text dynamically. And let's say it should be authenticated user email, for example. Now it's showing email here. What I can do is I can just set like a UI builder display value like email mail.com. Now this can be very helpful just for visualization, right? So now it's going to show like this, or you can write something like user email so that it's very easy for you to understand user email. This way is very visible for you to know what value you are receiving there. It should be noted like if you are using something like text concat, like if you are combining text, let's say if you are combining text, that particular functionality is not available. Let's say combine text, text one is man, and text two is space mate. Let's take for example like that. Now we confirm. You see, it's showing the man made. That's because we already have that. But if the values are being pulled from, say, authenticated user email and authenticated user phone number, for example, then you're going to get this mixed up one and two. And so you can the whole idea is you should be able to do something like here, say email and phone to get it visible. But I tried it earlier and it was not visible. I think that's something that FlutterFlow needs to work on. Again, it's different from default value. Default value is a value that should hold if these two are not available. This email and phone is just for the UI builder. It just identifies what you're building and it helps you see things. Anyways, that's that for that feature, I think. Now the next we have is other improvements. They say we have moved add page component button to the left sidebar. Yeah, this button like this that we used to use to add pages and components. I think initially it was here, then FlutterFlow moved it out here before this thing, or is it after? I cannot remember. Yeah, but now they have moved it back here. I think this is much more better. It's relatable. Like, this is where your pages are, and this way you can add a page as compared to keeping it externally out there. I have things like walkthrough fixes. Now people have been complaining, a couple of people have been complaining about walkthrough fixes. I made a video already about walkthroughs, the overview of walkthrough and how you can do that. You can check that here. But yeah, there are a couple of fixes to that, and I think it's amazing. Look around fixes too. Well, we are hoping to get FlutterFlow Copilot. Again, I don't know how that works. I don't know what that entails. And also things like animation and transform by variable. Okay, that's going to be helpful somehow. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Well, guys, this has been the updates for FlutterFlow this April 4th, and I think yeah, those are some cool features, especially the drag and drop feature. And please, if you found this video to be helpful, or maybe not, be sure to leave like a thumbs up. It really, really, really motivates me to do make this content. As you can see, it takes a lot of time to edit and shoot. And please feel free to leave out a comment if you have any comments. Be sure to ask any question if you have, and reach out to me if you need any assistance or to have something done.